Look, I tell you what, I've tried to make this video 3 times now and stuff just keeps getting in the way, so let's cut right to the chase. Hey YouTube, I'm back. Now I know that's a confusing statement. I've kind of been here. Like over the past year, I've put out like 1 video every once in a blue moon or something like that. So some of you are like, yeah, you've been on YouTube, what are you talking about? But we're changing the game a little bit here. I'm sorry for the confusion. And let me give you a little bit of context on why I'm saying I'm back and not just like I'm ramping up production of YouTube videos or something like that. It's because I want to make a much more concerted effort to make YouTube content and to put it out there specifically for this platform. And believe it or not all of you know this, but that was something that I used to do. There was an era in my life where I spent most of my free time on YouTube, and I also put out like 1 YouTube video a week. Not for very long, but there was an era in my life where I did that. In a lot of ways, you could even say that I grew up on YouTube, like my formative years, like my high school into early college years. Like I was spending a majority of my free time on YouTube or talking to my friends about YouTube. And honestly, all of that was like the place where it all started for me. It's where I initially got inspired to make content for other people, where I first saw that like you can make things just by yourself as an ordinary person that are exceptional and meaningful to a lot of people. Man, I was watching all kinds of channels back then, like Vlogbrothers and Apprentice A and Apprentice A's other channel that did daily vlogs, and Wheezy Waiter and Pomplamoose and Philly D and SourceFed, and just all of these channels that were so like important and formative for me. And I always dreamed of making stuff like that. And like there's a lot of detail in between that I'm skipping out on, but eventually my dreams kind of shifted focus from YouTube to Twitch once I really got into that. And I had dreamed of being a YouTuber, and then I just shifted that dream over to, oh, I'd really like to be a Twitch streamer. It seems like a very similar motif, just live, you know? But even through all of that, YouTube was kind of like my first love, if you will, when it comes to content creation. And there's a lot of reasons that I like started making content back then and then had to stop making content, and then started streaming and then had to stop streaming, and all of this. It's all the fuzzy little details in the middle. And I can make a video. If you'd like to see that, let me know. I can make a video that explains my kind of content creation journey from like way back in 2009, 10, somewhere around there to now. But that's a video for another day, and I'll just leave it here and say, if you don't know me, I'm a Twitch streamer. I've been streaming on Twitch for the last 5+ years consistently. I actually started way before that, but my most consistent and most successful run on Twitch has been in the last 5 years. And last year I quit my job to do this full time, to be a content creator, to make Twitch content and anything else that could help me make a living off of this. And I'll tell you, what I didn't do back then was make YouTube videos. And I'll tell you, when I started doing Twitch full time, when I was researching and doing all of this information gathering on like how to do Twitch full time, one of the things that I heard over and over and over and over again was make YouTube videos too. Make custom content for YouTube. That is how you grow a good base. And you know what I didn't do? I mean, to give myself some amount of credit, I swung at a couple of things. I tried like my top clips of the week videos, and those ended up being a little bit too monotonous for me. I started a podcast that I'm still doing. The episodes are just like fewer and far between now, but we'll get into that later. But the whole time through, nothing has felt like exactly like the right thing to do. I didn't know how to figure out what I wanted to do on YouTube. And to be honest, I don't know that I still have. So with that said, you're probably wondering like, what can I expect from you being back on YouTube? And that is an entirely fair question, I have to admit. So here's what you can likely expect. Me trying a bunch of things. You'll probably see some videos that are like content from my streams that I've repurposed to make into YouTube videos. You will probably see some vlog style videos. That's the type of stuff that I used to make back in the day. And honestly, sitting here recording this right now, and some of the recent videos that I've done in this style too have really like brought me a lot of joy. It really feels like I'm kind of going back to my roots. So you'll see some of that. And you might also see some more like gaming focused stuff where I talk about specific games that I'm playing, or maybe even like review games that I have played through. I've always liked that kind of content, but I've never felt myself like an authority on it. And honestly, after streaming full time for a year, I think that might have shifted. And honestly, you might see stuff outside of those kind of categories as well, because my goal right now is to just make things, to try to figure out what I enjoy making and what I'm good at, and to move forward from there. So one of the things that I did back in the day was I put myself on a schedule and I said, I'm going to make 1 YouTube video per week. And that was really difficult for me. It took a lot of creativity. It took a lot of like kind of missed guesses on what good content would be, but it really did push my creativity, and it forced myself to always be in that kind of creating mindset, that what can I make next type of mindset. And you know, without putting too much pressure on myself, that's kind of the place that I want to get back to. I'm not going to put like a specific, I will make this many videos per month or per week or anything like that, but I do want to say that I'm making myself create regular content. What that looks like might be a little bit up in the air for a little while. It might be a little bit dicey here for a second, but I'm going to do my best to continuously make content and to really give this a better crack, because I have really been craving making more content like this lately. And I think that it's very interesting that just over a year into this journey, I'm finally figuring out like what my content niche is, like what is uniquely mine and what ideas work for me specifically. And it's funny, I told my wife that the other day. I said, it's been just over a year and I finally feel like I'm kind of hitting my stride with so many things, and I'm feeling an amount of confidence in like what I'm doing and like what I can create. And I really quickly realized that that's a funny statement for me, because I was missing my own message here. Back in the day, I used to work in a job where it was my job to make sure that the staff of the entire organization that I was working for was well trained and that they were doing well in their jobs. And sometimes managers would come to me and they would say, look, I'm just disappointed in this new staff member that I hired. I really want them to be as good as the person who did their job before them, and they just don't seem to be. And I would immediately tell them to relax and to cut the person some slack, because it takes between 1 year and 18 months for people to really feel like they are at home and confident in their job, like they've really hit their stride. And so to kind of experience that firsthand feels a little bit like I'm taking my own medicine here, and I'll take it, because I'm in that place. I'm in that place where I'm a year to 18 months in, things are starting to feel good, and I'm hoping they continue to go that way. Now, I could say a lot more on this, but I'm not going to. I'm going to wrap things up right here, because honestly, one of the things that had been holding me back from making this video was that I got really sick for the last 2 days, like really sick. And I kind of still feel a little bit like death. I'm feeling better. I'm feeling reasonably better, but my body is still very angry at me. So I'm gonna go eat some soup, and I'll just leave it here and say that, number one, I'm gonna try really hard not to be the guy who says I'm back and then ghosts the party. Like, I really wanna do this, I really wanna commit to this, and I'm really glad that you are here. And two, if you have watched this far and you're not yet subscribed to me, even if you don't know who I am, I would really appreciate if you just gave me a shot. That would be really, really cool of you. And tell your friends. I don't know how do you end a YouTube it's good to be back. It's good to be back. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad you're here. I'll see you in the next one. In the meantime, please do me the biggest of favors. Be kind to yourselves. Be kind to each other. I love you guys. Bye.